You're listening to the Voices of the Voiceless podcast with your hosts, Brad Shepard and Jonathan Fisher.
I'm searching for love, Brad's searching for optimism, and we're both searching for good wrestling.
Yeah, that's whatever.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter. None of what I say matters.
You can never avoid the voices of the voiceless.
Take on freedom, take on.
And welcome everybody to the 21st edition of the Voices of the Voiceless podcast with a brand new intro. Compliments of Vince McMahon. Hi, Brad. I'm John. Nice to meet you.
Hi, John. I'm Brad. You may know me from the internet.
From the internet. That's a big place. And while it seems like I'm not myself, I'm stoic this week. I'm gonna try to take on a new persona of the man that knows way too little about wrestling. Seems like there's a lot of those people lying around. Well, it's a new year and it's a new day, like it says in our podcast description for this week. And speaking of that, I have an axe to grind, not an axle. Haha, get it? No, I have an axe to grind with a stable, but unbeknownstly, unbeknownst to them, it's not their fault. We'll get into it. I keep rambling. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've been on the normal week, but shut me up, please, dear God.
Just shut up. Somebody's got to take this goddamn podcast over. Somebody's got to take charge. And it's going to be me.
Yeah.
All right.
Clearly it's not.
Let's get this thing going. Hit the music maestro for our What the Fuck tweet of the week. All right, and our What the Fuck tweet of the week is brought to you by @TNA Fan for Life 4519.
Oh God.
TNA Fan for Life 4519 tweets, quote, "I don't care what any negative internet nerd says. Josh Matthews is the best commentator in the business now." Unquote.
Yeah, and Jeff Hardy's real last name is Harvey. Let's keep going.
I mean, it's like, do people actually believe that?
I heard he hasn't gone through puberty yet. He's still 16.
Oh, he's short. That could be true.
Well, I'm talking about his voice. He has a really high voice, like not in a good way. Like when Heyman enunciates and does his normal Heyman gimmick, he raises his voice inflection. But Matthews is just at a constant, "Hi, I'm Josh Matthews here on TNA on Pop." By the way, it's terrible branding. We know it's on Pop, and no one still gives a shit. Don't tell Dixie that, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly not the best or one of the best. I would say he hasn't been very good, actually, but that's just one man's opinion. Now,
what would be the worst commentary team of all time? And I'm talking two because I hate three-man teams. They're so obnoxious. There's no room to talk for anybody. Mine would have to be Josh Matthews and Byron Saxton. That's just a whole group of awful that I throw off a cliff.
That would be interesting. It would kind of be like the car accident on the side of the road that you can't turn away from.
Yeah, that's happened to me before. It's you're right. You're absolutely right. I was at work at my old station, and I was looking out the window. I see this tractor trailer turn over on its side on a ramp, getting off onto another street. I just couldn't look away. The woman was okay, luckily, but I know exactly what you mean. It's beautiful yet disgusting at the same time. But no, Saxon's a whole kind of awful, and Josh Matthews, fucking damn it, he has two T's in his last name. No one has Matthews with one T. It's fucking stupid, and I hate it. Moving on to something I don't hate, and something Brad probably will hate, is the huge news that Mama Meltzer, Mama Meltzer, I said it. Mama Meltzer dropped the big bomb. No, that wasn't a good joke since North Korea kind of has a hydrogen bomb and they're whatever. New Japan Pro Wrestling talent gave notice that I know. Yeah, you get that? New Japan
and
what?
By the way, it wasn't even Dave Meltzer that broke the story. It was MLW Radio.
You're right, which is funny because everyone's giving Meltzer credit that he broke the story.
Yeah, and I've been correcting people on Twitter over that. It's like because they did Alvarez and Meltzer did an audio,
Yeah,
and they didn't credit MLW Radio for the information. It's like, what the fuck? Come on, dude.
Well, okay. It's interesting how all this can work. Look, for example, let's say you're in Raleigh, right? Let's say the NBC affiliate in Raleigh. Let's call their call letters RAL, just for the sake of an argument. Let's say RAL just trying to confirm 38,000 babies were shot and killed. Okay, this is extremely gruesome. So 38,000 babies were shot and killed by Byron Saxton. He went nuts. So they're looking for Saxton, and they have him confirmed as the actor, and they're going to try to go get him and put him into custody, maybe shoot him, because who cares? If RAL looks to their news partner, let's say it's a paper called the Raleigh Tribune. I'm totally if I'm right, that's kind of weird. I don't know. So they're accrediting the Raleigh Tribune for breaking the news. However, if they get the news for themselves, they don't have to accredit anybody. They don't have to have their own, credit to MLW Radio. If Meltzer and Alvarez found it on their own, despite MLW Radio breaking the story, they don't have to credit shit. So I, as a journalist, can back them up on that. Now, I don't know if that's the case, but Alvarez seems like a responsible journalist, and then Meltzer does his Meltzer thing every week. So I can back him up. You have to see where I'm coming from here. Not everyone has to credit somebody else for the news if you find it yourself, even if it wasn't yours at first.
Yeah, sure, but we don't know. I mean, that's a big assumption you're making, but I agree. But in the wrestling community, it's very based around reputation, and
yeah,
even a lot more so than probably standard journalism. People want to make sure that they get credit for breaking the news. So it's just a good practice, I think. Now, maybe they found it on their own, maybe they didn't, but a lot of people did attribute them incorrectly to breaking the story first.
I know.
And they didn't correct that in their audio. However, one of their writers, who also writes for voicesofwrestling.com along with myself, wrote an article for The Observer where he did credit MLW Radio for breaking the story first, which was very cool. So
yeah, well, anyway, yeah, and you trust me, I was on Raw. Okay, I know what I'm talking about.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to put up with this bullshit.
Just wait until I work for them. Then
John Fisher as seen on Raw.
that should be my new plenty better. I was on Raw. So New Japan Pro Wrestling talent gave the notice that they're leaving. So Brad, you're more of a wrestling connoisseur than I am. I try to be, but priorities and junk.
Yeah, so
I would like you to go, even though I have written several articles on it already. I know the situation, I know the people. I would like for you to go through it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of speculation about AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Doc Gallows, a.k.a. Luke Gallows, a.k.a. Festus, who was in the WWE, although he probably wants you to forget the Festus deal. And then Carl Anderson, the Machine Gun Carl Anderson. So those are the four guys in question, and just to provide a little insight, typically Japan does like a January to January contract.
Yeah.
So AJ Styles is the only one right now who is not under contract with anyone. He could appear anytime. That means he could be a surprise at the Royal Rumble, folks. I mean, he could appear any day.
Hold on. Can I please interrupt you? For good reason, for very good reason. So I'm going on Twitter right now. I guess 17 hours ago, first of all, the WWE did write an article about how did they really sign them? And then Vince is like, we don't know. I'm not going to comment on it. Like, it was such a kayfabe-esque article. I laughed. Now, they put out an article last night around like 3 in the morning. They backdated it. And it says, remember when AJ Styles, and they used his Twitter handle, by the way, made his WWE debut 14 years ago? Watch, #Bullet Club. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, actually, the story I was told was that the Triple H said, "Why aren't we covering this?" So it was actually his at his direction that their website covered. I mean, and it makes sense.
It does.
You can go to them and get the scoops directly. So That's what they're doing now. AJ Styles hasn't signed a contract as of yesterday. I can confirm he hasn't signed a contract with WWE. I would assume he's probably going to, and again, he'll be available anytime. Now, Nakamura's deal ends very soon, probably the end of the month, I believe. And then they did a show after Wrestle Kingdom 10 called New Year's Dash that was recorded.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. There's a tag team match where Kenny Omega pins Nakamura. Nakamura is still the IWGP Intercontinental Champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I would expect that led to the setup of a title match, and I would expect Omega to win the championship from Nakamura, so he can leave, unless this is all some big troll job for Nakamura to get more money. He has given his notice to leave, and I would expect WWE to try to sign him as well. They had interest in him last year, and that was because of Jim Ross.
Yep.
Jim Ross did the announcing for Wrestle Kingdom 9 and said, "Hey, you've got to sign this guy. He's a must-have." And it didn't work out. They basically waited too damn long, and New Japan re-signed him, and so they've got him locked up.
I don't think they wanted him because Vince, he created a monster in World Wrestling Entertainment, but he's also stubborn. I personally don't think that he even looked at him or knew who he was until Jim Ross said it, which is completely erroneous to even think about that, and why you don't look at talent worldwide. Yeah, he has his scouts like Albert and Regal and Brookside and Trips now and Adam Pearce. All these guys are trainers and scouts. Why doesn't Vince do it himself? Think of it like football. And I'll use the Steelers, for example, or even Belichick and Mike Tomlin. They have their GMs and their scouts, but they have to look at the talent too. They can't rely on the scouts to do it all for them. Bring them in for a tryout, and hey, this guy's a piece of shit, and they kick him out of there after one tryout and a $400 flight from whoever the fuck knows where. Vince he needs to broaden his horizons. At 70 years old, I understand that, but ratings, which by the way, Raw was a 2.5 last night or 2 nights ago, things need to change. And when I texted you 2 nights ago, I said, "You're gonna hate this, aren't you?" And you're like, "Depends." Now I would like to hear why it depends.
Yeah, we'll definitely discuss that for sure. So just to kind of recap on the New Japan stuff, the New Year's Dash show, there was a second piece to it as well, where AJ Styles was ousted as the leader of the Bullet Club. He got a double super kick from the Young Bucks, and then Kenny Omega reclaimed his spot basically as the head guy of the Bullet Club. So Styles is out. That's a way to write him off. He's given his notice. And but all the other 3 are still under contract technically, but there is strong interest by WWE. They do want them, but because they're still under contract with New Japan, they can't put anything pen to paper wise right now. Well, so is it most likely going to happen? Yes. Is it official? Completely official? No.
I think the cat was out of the bag truly when WWE wrote an article on it. I said that was it. They're coming. No doubt about it. Yeah. And they if they would have left one name out, let's say they would have named Nakamura, Gallows, and Anderson, but not Styles. Styles would have been question mark completely. But until they started to mention them, that was it. It's done. It's over. They're coming. And there's more of a first of all, Finn Balor is the biggest troll in the world, and I fucking love it. What he's doing right now to his Instagram and Twitter followers is just laughable. You have that, and then you have Styles getting his Ring of Honor advertisements deleted, so he's done with Ring of Honor. He doesn't have any commitments there anymore. He could be in the Rumble in a couple of weeks. How would that shape up what's going on? Styles would come in 3 weeks after a crazy announcement that was never official. I don't know. That'd shake things up a bit.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be something different for sure. Yeah, I mean, so we'll see what happens. I think Finn in that cocky heelish type of role, in betweener or heel, as the leader of the Bullet Club or the Balor Club or whatever you want to call it. I think that's really where he does best. And I told you this before, that I like him in that role much better than like the monster gimmicky whatever thing he comes out in with his entrance. And his stuff as the Bullet Club guy is really good, and that's what I prefer. And I think if you bring those guys in, I think you just have them in a faction together as like the Battler Club or whatever they want to call it.
Well, they
And
they can't use Bullet Club. It's copywritten.
Well, obviously. But I would book them similar to the NWO coming in. And I would make it a huge deal. I would do it just like the NWO coming into WCW. I mean, I would just really run full speed ahead with it and Finn as the leader.
Now, wouldn't that be criticism of just rewriting history? Right?
Well, wrestling is often a repeat, and if you do it right and you don't do it that often, then it can work really well.
And we'll get into that because Raw tried to do that for the second week in a row. Moving downward on the skill of wrestling programming, TNA Impact. Honestly, I didn't watch it. I don't give a shit. I don't have to give a shit because not a lot of people give a shit. I heard it was a decent show, but overall it was stupid. And yeah, decent show and stupid. I know they don't go hand in hand, but that's Twitter people. So you have that, and you have James Storm re-signing with TNA, which I know it's a money issue. He was lowballed by NXT, and TNA offered him more money. So, and he reunited. Spoiler alert! No, it was live last night. Never mind. He was reunited with what's his dick, Bobby Roode. The beer money's back and great and whatever, and TNA will be canceled in 2 years anyway. So why are we talking about it?
Well, it's a new start for them, so I wanted to briefly touch on it. Their Impact on Pop show this week drew 255,000 viewers. I guess that's a success for what it is. But for reference, their Destination America debut drew 359,000. And then, by week 3 in Destination America, they're up to 516K. That's something to watch. So anyway, that's the kind of numbers. I mean, that's the reality of TNA, in the kind of business they're going to do. And that just makes it all the more difficult to sign people these big money deals. And so you brought in Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis, and they were the miracle. And I could see that coming a mile away. And, I tweeted Dixie before, days before the show, saying something about Miracle Mike Bennett or whatever. I mean, it was just obvious. And then they signed James Storm, of course, and in WWE. I think his deal with them, it never really worked out because, I think the Billy Gunn thing hurt him, and they weren't really going to commit to giving him a ton of money. And I understand that. He's in his late 30s. And that's the way they do business usually. So, yeah, I mean, he returned to TNA to reform Beer Money with Bobby Roode, which was a good tag team. But the interesting part here I wanted to note was that ProWrestlingSheet.com obtained the details of Storm's return. And I just wanted to read that to you. And I'm going to do it in a quote from Ryan Satin of ProWrestlingSheet.com and let you hear what he said. I thought this was very interesting.
Go for
Quote, "The best things in life may be free, but when you've got a family to feed, money talks." And that's precisely why recent NXT wrestler James Storm re-signed with TNA before his surprise return. As we previously reported, Storm was never locked down to a long-term deal during his 2 appearances in WWE programming, and James' former employer desperately wanted him back. Sources close to the situation tell us after months of negotiations, WWE was only willing to offer him a deal that would bring Storm less than $100K a year. TNA, on the other hand, was offering 2.5 times more than that. Plus, he'd get a portion of merchandise sales for the 2-year contract. Even better, we're told his new deal would be guaranteed money. He'd still get paid even in full if TNA suddenly went out of business. And the door was left open by WWE officials for a future return, unquote, which I find very unlikely. But holy shit. So TNA who already, was under some financial constraints, is throwing the bank at James Storm. He's 38. He's not a main event star. They just brought him back to be in a tag team. And it's guaranteed money, so even if they go out of business, they got to pay this guy, $500,000 or whatever. I just couldn't believe it.
Do you want to make a bet, if you and I are still friends in 2 years, that TNA will be canceled? Because how much did their Impact on Pop, which is a really stupid name, garner last night as far as viewership?
About 255,000 viewers.
Do you want to know what their last show did on Destination America on December 11th?
Tell us.
269,000. Fuck off, all of Impact fans. Y'all are naive and stupid. They are worse. And they built this up as it was this big rejuvenation, a revolution of TNA wrestling. No, fuck you. TNA hasn't been good since 2012. And I really, really fall back on that because that's when it was interesting and it was exciting and they let them wrestle. And the storylines made sense and Dixie was in fucking every segment. Yeah, Hulk was driving the company into the ground, but the ratings were high. You have people defending it like it's the fucking NXT or ECW revival, which was shit, by the way, except for CM Punk. I mean, well, for reasons. They lost viewership on a brand new show with a brand new mentality. That's failure. I'm sorry. They're failing. Completely failing.
And on a show that supposedly is in millions of more households.
Yeah.
So
less.
Yeah, I mean, but the show started off with Dixie on the mic in the ring talking, and so EC3 should have been the champ all along, but that's not what they did. They had the whole several-month deal where they had matches taped in advance, and they stripped the title because they had to. It was just a big disaster. So, but on this show, the tournament finals were Matt Hardy versus Ethan Carter III, which is what they had, last year when Matt Hardy beat Ethan Carter and then got stripped of the title. So they had a rehash of the exact same thing in this tournament, and EC3 won the championship. It was just, the episode was I would say like average, thumbs in the middle at best. It's certainly nothing that's going to bring in new viewers, unfortunately.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. It just is. It's terrible. And didn't you say that James Storm gets $500,000 if they get canceled? Right?
Yeah, he gets his full contract. It's a 2-year deal he signed.
What?
And he gets the full money.
What company puts that in a contract? Unless they are totally certain that they're going to get canceled within the next several years.
Well, unless they're Ted Turner or unless they think he's the next Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin.
Yeah, sorry. That ship is long sailed, buddy. Long since sailed. Yeah, all right. Well, yeah, we have honestly TNA Impact should be a what the fuck tweet of the year because that's what they are. Just what the fuck. Moving on to one of Brad's favorite things in the world, aside from his family, like Kevin Owens, Lucha Underground Season 2, the trailer, which is excellent. It looks like a movie trailer, to be honest with you. A really extended one. Debuts on Wednesday, January 27th at 8 p.m. on the El Rey Network, and I'm excited. I know Brad's excited.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you made a great point about it being like a movie trailer, and that's the premise of the whole show. It's a television show about wrestling rather than a wrestling show on television. And that really helps set it apart from the competition, as you would call it, WWE and TNA and ROH and the others. It's really, really great show. If you've never seen it, find out if you have El Rey and check it out January 27th. That's a Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And watching the trailer, and you can check it out, just Google Lucha Underground Season 2 trailer. But, man, I got goosebumps watching this. You had Drago and the nunchuck fight with PJ Black, who you may know as Justin Gabriel from WWE. You had Prince Puma hitting the punching bag and punching a hole through it. Prince Puma you may know as Ricochet on the Indies. Then you had an army of Pentagon Juniors. Pentagon Jr. was a great heel towards the end of Lucha Underground Season 1. And it looks like a very cool backstory with Killshot, where he's some sort of a counter-terrorist agent or, badass. Just a lot of great stuff. Of course, you see Mil Muertes, who is the champ at the end of Season 1, attacking one of his own henchmen. And then, of course, the return of the best authority figure in wrestling, Dario Cueto. Now, if you were to ask me in a general statement, I would say that wrestling authority figures are played out and should go away. There's one exception. There's one exception, and it's this guy. And if you've never seen his work, you've got to watch the Season 1. It's fantastic. He's not a heel. He's not a heel, but he's not a face. He's a guy who will do whatever it takes to put on a show that the people will like so that he can make money. Blood, sweat, tears, whatever it takes. If he's got to be crooked, he's got to be crooked. Whatever it takes to put on the best show, that's what he's going to do. And that's the character, and it's great.
I can't really say anything more than that because I still haven't watched. I know. I'm just going to watch season 2. I'm going to start fresh.
Yeah.
Season 2.
You should check out the season 1 trailer. Check out Ultima Lucha, episode 1 and 2. I would do that, and then you should be good for season 2.
Ultima Lucha 1 and 2. I can definitely do that by 127.
Yeah, that's their WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. I bet that'll give me 3 weeks. I can do that. I can do that for sure. Because I'm gonna probably watch Wrestle Kingdom 10. I'm gonna try to.
Mm-hmm.
I already saw the Nakamura and Styles match for the Intercontinental title, which was amazing.
Yep.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but that match obviously was the big one. Okada Tanahashi. I'm really a big fan of Okada, and Tanahashi is great as well. So those were probably the 2 matches I was looking forward to the most.
Yeah, definitely watch. New Japan Pro Wrestling is so underrated because not enough people are brought outside the WWE bubble.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of educated casual wrestling fans when it comes to other cultures wrestling. That's just the way it is.
The King of Strong Style, man, he can kick. Oh, he can kick. Those things hurt me. So moving on to everyone's favorite, Monday Night Raw. Well, our hit or miss is back, and with a vengeance. We have 4 topics for Brad to tackle and hate everything. Without further ado, the first hit or miss. Here we go. The continuation of the Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens feud. I give it a hit.
Yeah, I gave it a hit as well. I love the physical nature, the aggressive behavior, that ruthless aggression. I think it's still the best feud in
Ruthless
WWE.
aggression. Sorry.
Yeah. It reminds you of Kurt Angle, John Cena slapping Kurt Angle on his debut.
It reminded me of Vince McMahon coming up with 2 words to put together and tell Cena to say it to get him popular. So, yeah. They named the whole era after Cena. Did you ever think about that? Because he was really the first one to say ruthless aggression and make it a thing, and that was his gimmick for a little bit. And that was the ruthless aggression era. I never actually put 2 and 2 together to make Cena. So hey, I thought it was a hit too. This is Vince McMahon's way and Kevin Dunn's silly way of saying, "Here, Marks, here's your feud that you wanted." So everything else is shit, and they give us this. That's their parting gift. We're gonna make crap, but here's a little stocking stuffer on the side.
Yeah, here's a little breadcrumb for you. You know, you Smarks will love this. They're not going to be the main event.
And they do.
Yeah.
I especially love the way that Ambrose was like holding Owens' face after he put him through the table.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, it was like almost like vintage Ring of Honor, like John Moxley, Kevin Steen style shit, and that was cool. It was good to see that. I don't know. Either way. So, and I know Brad and I are going to disagree on the next one. I just know it because, well, I know things. Charlotte versus Becky, I thought it was phenomenal. So it's a hit for me. I called the ending. I even tweeted about it just to make sure that my prediction wasn't nonsensical and I was lying. I called the ending, and that's good booking. I'm sorry, it is, Brad. You can shut up. The match was good. The ending was good, and the fucking booking of her heel turn was great. And Becky's going to be a sympathetic face who can actually wrestle. They'll have matches back to back each week that are going to be fantastic. They have a title match tomorrow night. It's going to be wonderful.
You are such a Becky Lynch mark.
She's better than Charlotte.
Well, I'm not going to argue that. No, dude, for me, this was kind of like thumbs in the middle. I guess it was kind of like a hit between, not a hit, not a miss. I mean, I did like the end, I guess, the end result of the match. I feel like they did need Becky Lynch to win. Just because she's had so little momentum that they put her in this program. And
she's over. Did you hear the crowd?
Well, I think the term "over" is overrated by a lot of people, but
Well,
yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, sure, there was some cheering for it. It's good. I mean, I think she's a very good women's wrestler. There's no doubt about that. Um, but I feel like she needed to win. Now, holding the tights, whatever. I guess I get it, but I think she needed to win. She needed that momentum going into a program with Charlotte, just because. What momentum did she have otherwise, besides being a lackey?
well, and that's the thing. She didn't, which sucks because she's better than Charlotte. I know people don't like her on the mic. I love her mic skills. I think they're actually good. Maybe it's just me. She seems really comfortable talking without a script. Her NXT promos were very impressive. And it should be Becky and Sasha feuding for the strap, not Becky and Charlotte. I'm starting to see Charlotte's, as you say, mediocrity, and I respect her as a wrestler. But
well, look, it's not personal. When I talk about the talent, these guys.
I know it's not personal for
it's
you.
The Young Bucks or the Ryback or any of these guys or girls.
Don't say Ryback. He's a piece of shit.
It's a judgment on their job or their character. It's not personal. I'm not angry at them. It's just an opinion. So I just want to be clear about that.
Carry on.
Well, that's it. That's all I had to say.
Oh.
It was whatever.
So it wasn't a hit. It wasn't a miss. What do you want them to do now? What if Becky stuns the world and beats Charlotte on SmackDown? Why not? That'd be something different. It'd be a shock. We need more shock around here. Some shock and awe.
Yeah, they have this pattern of they almost to a fault are methodical in some of the things they do. Like they'll plan something out. This is what they plan to do, and they're going to execute it. No matter what happens, they're going to ride it out and do it. But sometimes, every once in a while, they need a shock to shake things up, and they don't do nearly enough of that. I agree.
See,
I mean, it's not like Charlotte is moving the world with her title reign. So giving it to Becky Lynch isn't going to kill anything.
Well, no, but it also make people look at Becky like, wow, Becky, okay. And it'll give her some limelight and give her that actual chance of maybe she can carry a program. Maybe she can hold the strap. Yeah. But on top of that, and I'll get into this near the end of the show, when you talked about the Bullet Club, will now be known as whatever the hell club. Whatever they end up doing, the Balor, Anderson, Gallows, and Styles, the four of them, fucking have them go up there, win every title, and just take over everything. I mean, full-scale takeover. When was the last time a stable held every championship? Evolution? And I don't even think they held every belt. They couldn't have. Because Trips had the World Heavyweight Championship, and then what was it? It was Orton and Batista and Flair had the tag titles, and then Orton had the Intercontinental title. They still didn't have the U.S. title, right? I'm not missing anything, am I?
No, they didn't hold. I mean, they held majority of the belts, but not all of them. I don't believe.
Well, that was the last time that's actually happened, right? A stable held a majority of this championships. Fucking have them do it. Have them do it. Have Balor come win the World Heavyweight Championship. Have Anderson and Gallows win the tag team titles, and then give Styles the Intercontinental Championship or the U.S. title. Have them fucking run with it. Why not? What would it hurt?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
It wouldn't hurt at all. It's a risk, and if you're running a business, if you don't take risks, you're not going to get high reward back.
Right.
You're going to be stagnant and have a slight.
That's their problem. You're exactly right. I think you called it. They are stagnant, and you've just explained exactly why.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Just think it from a business sense. Wrestling's a business, everyone. We love it. It's the most unique and organic thing in the entire planet. It's also a business too, Unfortunately, it's publicly traded, but I don't want to get into that. That's a whole another conversation for another day. So Ryback and Big Show. I don't give a. I muted it, and I was like watching old highlights of me on TV. I swear to God, that's what I was doing because it was so fucking boring, and I don't like watching myself on TV. I don't like listening to myself either, contrary to popular belief. So I decided to go and just study myself because I'm trying to get on-air jobs elsewhere. And I literally muted it and looked away. I didn't give a flying shit what was happening.
I don't know why we needed to see this match again. And what's even worse, John, is I think they're setting up for a cliche Ryback and Big Show square off spot in the Rumble.
No,
where the two big guys go at each other. What newsflash? Nobody is going to care about that.
it's going to be Big Show, Ryback, and Braun Strowman, the trifecta.
Well, did you see the lifts they put in Braun Strowman's boots?
Yeah,
Oh my God, that guy was about as tall as the Big Show.
and he's not.
He's 6'7" or 6'8", legit.
I think
And
he's
they-
6'7". I'm going to look right now for you. He's 6'8".
Yeah, they put some lifts in that guy's shoes to make him appear bigger and more of a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
nobody cares about him either. Whatever.
Which is unfortunate because he could have been pretty good.
They could put 1 foot worth of lifts in that guy's shoes, and I still wouldn't give one flying fuck about him.
Yeah, me neither. So that was stupid. The debut of my new favorite faction. I saw your comments, and they were not appreciated.
God.
You shut up. You don't disrespect.
Block me if you don't like it. Block me, bitch.
Well, now
Oh,
he's not one man anymore. He's 4 men, baby. Motherfucker, dude, the coolest stable. The Job Squad's back, man. So the name is pretty dumb. I will give them that. They should have been named the Job Squad. Heath Slater, Adam Rose, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas. How funny was Axel's promo?
Well, I've got my own thoughts on that. I wouldn't call it funny.
Oh, I loved it. I loved every single second of it. I thought it was hilarious. I was sitting there laughing through the whole thing. I was drinking and I was having a good time.
There you go. There it is, folks. He was drinking. Maybe that's what I've got to start doing to enjoy this kind of shit.
No, seriously, you didn't have fun with that. It's supposed to be funny. That's the point.
Look, it's always nice to be on TV, but this promo was terrible to me.
I'm really trying to. Can you filibuster for like? I'm trying to find it right now. I need this.
So, if you remember the old NXT, which was essentially kind of like Tough Enough, it was just a reality show to find the next WWE superstar.
And it was terrible.
Yeah, and they used to give those guys, they'd put them out into the ring, and they would have them cut live promos on TV.
Never worked.
And have them talk about different. It never worked. Not only did it never work, it was a train wreck, and that is exactly what this reminded me of. A train wreck, just like the guys from NXT in the early seasons where they would put them out there with a live mic, and it was just terrible. Yeah, I missed it. If anyone enjoyed that, feel free to tweet me and tell me what you liked about it at the Brad Shepard, because it wasn't working for me.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see where this is going. I mean, it's I'm glad. Look, it's always nice to be on TV. So there's that. But then you say, well, okay, well, Sandow's left out. Maybe that was the best, considering where this goes.
Well, good for his career. I mean, okay. By the way, and I know you didn't like it. You think it's silly. I loved it, and I'm gonna keep that there. But for bonus points, Brad, without cheating, who was the original Job Squad? I was trying to guess on Monday night because my roommate was asking. I got 2 out of the 4 correct.
Al Snow.
Yes.
Was Steve Blackman one?
Nope.
Who were the others?
I'll give you another minute to figure it out. You have until 5:20, 5:23 and a half.
Oh, geez, that's so nice of you. Are you gonna let me think about it?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you some time. Right now.
Okay. You've got a filibuster. We can't keep dead air. These people are going to tune out.
No, they're going to try to guess for themselves and tweet us. Well, it's easy. They can just look at them.
So it was...
do we need to just tell you?
No, I don't want you to tell me. I want to think about it.
Okay,
Okay, Bob Holly.
Yes.
See, here's the problem with me, okay? My brain is so big, there's so much information, there's so much wrestling knowledge all compacted into this big, massive brain
Oh, shut up.
that it takes sometimes a long period of time to retrieve the information in the corner of my brain.
Okay. Because you have little hornswoggles in your brain running from one end to the other to try to retrieve the information and get it back.
The Blue Meanie.
Yes!
From the PWE ECW fame. The Blue Meanie.
I love the
Okay,
Blue
so that's 3?
That's 3 out of 5. There was 5, actually, in the original Job Squad. I was wrong.
All right. I'm okay. See, you don't even know.
I'm looking at it right now. There's 2 more. You have Al Snow, the big Blue Meanie, Blue World Order represent, Bob Holly.
Okay, so there was he either went by Flash Funk or Scorpio.
Scorpio is correct.
At the time. Okay.
You have 1 more. Come on. Hold on. I'm gonna give you a hint. It might not be that obvious, but Dead Air. Oh my God. Honestly, Dead Air isn't that bad, believe it or not.
Wait a minute. Was it Dwayne Gilbert, the Goldberg gimmick?
Yeah, it was Gilbert. You are correct. I was trying to find Gilbert's theme music. I couldn't find it. Gilbert is correct. You have all 5. Good for you. The original. Now the next trick is name all the members of the Blue World Order.
Damn, Brad, that was great.
Yeah, is that Vince?
Yeah, it was great.
Does Vince? Do you talk to yourself like as Vince in one ear and then out the other is just Brad? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So as we move on from that, this is the new Job Squad, and it's fucking amazing. And this was so I said in the beginning of the show, I had an axe to grind. The New Day and Chris Jericho promo. By the way, Jericho's back, which is one I love. Jericho, he's great. Let's make.
He's wearing something that I wouldn't expect. Well, whatever.
Jericho.
Whatever. Okay, you just get.
he invented life as we know it, so he can do whatever he wants. My axe to grind was with the New Day, and at this point, I know for a solid fact, I've confirmed this, that it's not their fault. It's just not, because Vince and Dunn are making them go out there to force being funny, and now they're becoming saturated. I mean, let's get this clear. That was their first off night that they've had since they started to have this whole gimmick.
I don't think so.
I think so. Big E kind of saved it when he yelled, "Did you just call me big or fruity booty tootie or whatever he said?" That was funny. But that was it though. It's not their fault. I mean, you can only have so much creative material if you try to make people laugh, sometimes it doesn't work. Comedy's hard.
Look, I've been talking about this for weeks, telling you that they've been on the decline. It's been getting a little worse, a little too wacky and campy every week. For me, this was their worst promo to date by far. The crowd couldn't have cared less.
Well, the crowd sucked.
The whole Mike Tyson thing wasn't funny. And the stuff is just getting forced and wackier and campier by the week at this point.
It doesn't seem like it's their own original ideas, though. If you've noticed, the last 2 or 3 weeks, like you've been mentioning, all they're doing is talking about current events. Before then, they weren't talking about current events at all.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think that Vince and Dunn might have something to do with it? And say, oh, we need to talk about Tyson, or we need to talk about the fucking Star Wars. That cannot be them. There's no way in hell.
Oh yeah, I don't believe it's them. It's not them. They're funny. It's the fucking writing. It's the shits.
Yeah.
And Jericho's return didn't do anything for me. And him returning and calling the New Day Trap Queens and announcing himself in the Rumble, the whole segment I thought was bad, to be honest.
I don't know. I liked how they brought out Jericho with the countdown clock. That was pretty interesting. Don't you think?
Now, like we haven't seen that 20 times.
I know, but
This is Jericho's 20th secret part-time return. There was really nothing new about this other than, hey, I'm back and I'm doing the same thing I've always done, and basically I'm saying the ratings and everything are down, which is true, and I'm going to save you. Gee, I haven't heard that like maybe 16 years ago. And so it's like, it's just whatever. It didn't mean too much to me.
I hope that's not a trend. I really do. Anyway, yeah, it was slightly a miss for me. There was some good spots and there was some bad spots. So Roman versus Sheamus as the referee. Aside from, I enjoyed how Vince was being the dirty heel ref. I thought he played it off well. But the two big things that actually it's really one thing. The problem that I have is that he counted with both hands more than once. You just referee etiquette, man. Actually, it's referee 101. You count 1, 2, 3 with one hand, not with two. You don't use both hands. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's like being extremely critical. I thought Vince did a great job at being the ref. The only problem I had, on top of the 1, 2, 3 thing, using both hands, which is still just boggles my mind. The ending was such a clusterfuck. They tried too hard. If they would have had one less ref, or would have brought out Triple H or something like that, then I would have been sold. Now Triple H is appearing in the Rumble. That's confirmed as if I've ever seen anything confirmed before. But they tried too hard, man. There was just too much stuff. Wrestling fans aren't the smartest people. We're all kind of dumb in our own way. Don't over intensify everything.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, you shut up. Yeah.
That's your new line. Oh, you shut up.
It sort of. It can be. It can't. You get what I'm saying, though.
No wonder everyone blocks you on Twitter.
Not everyone, just idiots. Less is more, man. Less is more, and they certainly went with more, and it meant less.
Yeah, for me, I think you have to suspend disbelief a bit in these matches because, if the goal for Vince was really to put the bell in Sheamus, why wouldn't Sheamus just put Reigns in a headlock and Vince just ring the bell and say he's submitted?
Exactly.
Or Sheamus pin him and he just takes one hand and counts 3 times extremely fast. A la Nick Patrick in WCW when he was part of the NWO. Yeah, so you do have to suspend disbelief for that. The hand thing was really wonky. I don't know what the hell he was doing using both hands, but I think it was clear to me it was like you can really tell that as a performer, he's aged, and he definitely doesn't need to be a referee again. Yeah.
Well, those pecs, man. Those dancing pecs of his. The match itself was pretty good. The crowd got behind Roman, so they're doing what they want. They're trying to get Roman over. They're forcing it without making it seem forced, so the fans don't realize that it's being forced upon them to like Roman Reigns, which is kind of like a big mind fuck.
But nobody. Well, I've been saying this. Nobody wants Sheamus as champion.
I know.
That's part of it.
It is exactly part of it. But now, what's your thoughts of the ending? That was it was too much. Everything was okay until the ending. It was just too much.
Yeah, the ending itself was actually my stumble of the week. So we'll get into that.
Really?
Yeah.
Paige, you are a bitch. How can you do this to my daughter? Hey,
Ric Flair, I love you.
Yeah. Paige, you are the man. You're hot.
Yeah.
Let's do a figure 12 on Paige. I'll do it to her face. I'll face fuck her, and it'll be a figure 12. Paige, vagina, I love. Charlotte, I'm sorry. You're going to have a stepsister.
Go into it. Why? Why is it your stumble of the week?
Yeah, so for me, I think Vince kind of botched the ending of Raw. Well, he actually did. I don't think he did. He did. After the ref bump, he came to looking around and getting up quicker than he was supposed to. So the other ref hadn't come in to make the count yet. And then when he realizes, hey, I'm looking up and I see the pin taking place, but I can't count it. The other ref hasn't come in yet. So he totally fucking botched it. He botched it big time.
That did look funky.
Yeah, and so he impromptu, he sold his arm so it looked like he couldn't make the count after realizing, oops. Yeah. So that's
a good point
of the week for me.
That's a good. I was looking at that. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Can't he just count it? Like he's just sitting there. But now that we know that Roman Reigns is defending the belt in the Royal Rumble match, Triple H is going to show up at the Rumble, obviously. And if he shows up on Raw these next 2 weeks, then fuck surprise, fuck shock, because it doesn't matter. Everything has to be done now. There's no patience. If H comes in at like number 30 and just kicks Roman's ass, man, the reaction that will get. I mean, hell, they're not in the Mark City or anything, but still, that'd be great. But if you bring it back like the Raw before, says, I'm going to kick your ass at the Rumble, like how stupid is that? Just wait a week, damn it. Wait 1 week.
Well, and that goes to our final hit or miss. And that's Roman Reigns defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in the Royal Rumble match itself.
It's a hit, buddy, I got to say.
Vince makes the announcement, but yet he was so hurt before. The whole thing was just kind of weird. It's like if he was really that hurt, why couldn't Stephanie just make the announcement for him or whatever? Anyway, that's just a little nitpick. But yeah, I mean, for me, you thought it was a hit, and for me, I say it's to be determined.
Okay.
So it's hard to say until we know the end game for me. I think they're kind of in a difficult spot. I mean, it's cool that they're doing something different. When you look at it, it's like, okay, how often has the championship been up for grabs in the Royal Rumble? Twice. How often has it ever been where the champion defends the title in the Royal Rumble match? Never. First time.
Yep.
So
the
in
title
that respect,
was vacant in 1992.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. It was vacant when Flair won it in 92. So for that reason, it's a good thing to have, something new. But the caveat here is, okay, so Reigns has had a short title run already, won the title back, and may have another short title reign depending on the result of the Royal Rumble match. The fans, of course, could also turn on him if he turns around and beats 29 other guys and wins with the stipulation he's already the champion. If he loses, it's probably, it's like if he loses, he's probably going to get a title shot at WrestleMania anyway.
Well, shouldn't Reigns be the number one entrant?
If you stick with the storyline of Vince trying to screw him, he absolutely should be the number one entrant, and his buddy Dean Ambrose should be number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes the most sense in the storyline context.
Fuck it, have it like one after the other, man. You have Dean at 2, the Usos at 3 and 4. You stack the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Make him fight his family, the Roman and friends. Make him fight his friends. Make him
exactly.
Yeah, how cool would that be? The four of all Roman's empire in the ring at once. That's awesome.
Or maybe they swerve the Authority and refuse to fight each other, and then everyone else who comes in after them, they've got 4 on whatever.
That'd be awful. I gotta say, I hate seeing that. That would not be fun because I know Roman would win.
Well, I mean, Roman wins anyway. LOL. I mean, that's the deal.
We don't know that. We don't know that though. Do we know that? That's not guaranteed?
I don't know. I don't think he can really win the Rumble. Here's what I don't want to see, and everything they're doing lately is pointing towards a possible Triple H match at WrestleMania for the title, and I absolutely, unequivocally do not want to see that whatsoever. I'm afraid, because Vince made a comment that basically Triple H is going to come back and get you when you least expect it. I think that was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that least expect it is going to be when Roman is in the ring at the Royal Rumble match itself, and Triple H comes out number 30 and wins the title. I don't want to see him and Roman at WrestleMania. I absolutely absolutely would hate that match.
How bad would it be to have Cena win the strap and face Roman? I would love to see that match.
I think that's a much better option than Triple H. And a much more logical option in the context of the passing of the torch, the new face of the company, blah, blah, blah.
I know people hate Cena, but damn it, he hasn't been in a main event, and he wasn't in the main event all of last year. He didn't even have a title. No, he did. He fought for the strap at Royal Rumble of last year.
Mm-hmm.
But damn it, he hasn't been in the spotlight. He had the U.S. title thing going on, which was great, and I loved it. Everyone else seemed to enjoy it. Damn, give him the belt. Give it to him at Royal Rumble. No, there won't be a heel turn, so that's not going to happen. But give us something different. That's all I want.
I would love to see Dean Ambrose win it. Not going to happen.
No, well, he already has the IC. Why would he get another belt?
Well, the Warrior did it to Hogan at WrestleMania 6.
I think the match that we all want to see is Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Because that, my friends, is big money. Now, if that were to be the case, who'd be the heel? My heel, without a fucking doubt, would be Dean Ambrose. That's just me. The guy's a sadistic motherfucker, man. He's like that in real life, too.
I think either one could play the heel, to be honest, but it would be really good either way. That's a match I would really like to see.
May have a main event. Why not? And okay, total mind-blowing moment. What if you have Dean and Roman? They're about ready to get down to the match at WrestleMania. One's a heel, one's a face. Seth Rollins comes out of nowhere. It's that triple threat match that they've been wanting to book since last year. If he's healthy.
And if it's absolutely what I would do, and if he's not healthy, I would have him play a part in the match. Yeah. If he's a guest timekeeper, if he's a referee, whatever he can do within his physical limitations, give it that Shield feel. I say go for it.
That would be a WrestleMania moment to last a lifetime. You have Roman and Dean near the end of the match. One's about to get the pin. Seth Rollins' music hits. He comes down to the ramp, distracts, I don't know, Roman, and Dean gets the pin, or vice versa. You have a feud there, and you have a feud extending from that too. So you future book 4 months into advance from one night. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, definitely. My ideal WrestleMania main event would be a Shield triple threat. I'm not always the biggest on triple threats at the main event in WrestleMania, but I think this one would so work. It would just be great.
It would. It wouldn't even be. It wouldn't even be another conversation. That's it. That would have to be it. Do we have any update on Seth Rollins? He's kind of been quiet since the Slammies, and for good reason. I hate seeing injured wrestlers give updates because I want to be surprised when they return.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think you can say he's going to be a surprise Rumble return. But
there's no way he's ready. There cannot be.
But I like the idea of, like you say, a surprise. So if it's SummerSlam, if it's, whatever it is, I like the idea of a surprise. Put him back into a storyline and have him just come out one day and everybody is surprised.
Yeah. It honestly is not difficult. It's pretty easy.
Yep, I agree.
It's pretty easy. Well, last but not least, SmackDown's tomorrow night. I'm going to be recording it, or I might watch it live. I'm not sure yet, but Mauro Ranallo, the new announcer, is debuting, and I'm excited to hear his sound. I haven't listened to him yet, but I have high hopes. It'll be better than, I hope he's better than Michael Cole, dear God. But that's to be determined. Are you excited? I kind of am. It's going to be a new SmackDown feel, 2 title matches. Cena's going to be on the show.
I'm curious. I think that's the best word for it. I'm curious to see how this is going to be different, especially longer term. I mean, they've done this before where they kind of, SmackDown, one of the shows moves and they put a little attention to it for a short time and then all of a sudden they forget about it. But here's what I want to see. I want to see some changes to the set or the format of the show. And judging by the commentary team, I don't know. I thought they would have been much better off to take a chance and add like a Corey Graves to the commentating team.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Yeah, him and Mauro Ranallo. You know, get rid of that stupid 3-man booth. Unfortunately, they're just not doing that. So,
what's their big boner over 3-man booths? It just sucks.
It's terrible, and it's not like when you go back and look at a lot of the best duos in commentary ever in wrestling, they were all 2-man booths. I mean, it was all 2 guys calling the action, never 3.
Yeah, I don't. Even I gotta say, NXT's a 3-man booth, and without Saxton, just what I don't get him either. He sucks. He is just bad.
Well, they put him on SmackDown too, right?
Yeah, he's on everything.
Him, Lawler, and Ronaldo, I think, is the commentary team.
It is. Yeah. And then you have him on Raw and NXT. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. They love some Byron Saxton.
Why? If he was talented, I'd be so for that, but he's just missing it.
Yeah, especially, even if you like him, it's like, okay, let's have him on one show, not every fucking show we do. You know, give Corey Graves an opportunity. I think he would be a new, young, fresh face on SmackDown, along with the credibility and new face of Ronaldo. I think that would be really, really refreshing.
Yeah, but what if they don't like Graves because of his look? Tattoos, piercings, and Saxton's the upright, astounding young gentleman.
Yeah, but Graves is very representative of a lot of society. A lot of people have tattoos. A lot of people aren't your, cookie cutter type of white bread person.
Yeah,
and it's someone that people can relate to, normal, average people, and he does a good job too, by the way. So I just think it would be a good fit.
I do.
But what the hell do I know? So another thing too, like I said, the set hasn't been changed in forever. They really should change up the set. And I'm worried they're going to incorporate NXT into SmackDown, and it's really going to kill NXT big time. In fact,
why do you think that? I've heard nothing of the sort.
I had heard that they may add in some NXT stuff on SmackDown, and if they do, I think it's not good for NXT. I do know that I think it was in the last Breaking Ground show, the season finale, that they showed at I think it was a Takeover show. They showed Michael Cole, and I think it was Michael Hayes backstage.
Yeah, well, Cole's in a WWE official.
Yeah, but the more hands from the main roster Raw type of feel that they have in NXT, the worse it's going to be. The more like Raw it's going to be. So it's just a risk you run. So yeah, I think NXT should stay its own entity, but we'll see what happens. They've got a real opportunity here, and they can decide to do something with it if they want. But I'm curious to find out. That's why I say I'm curious, and I will be watching at least this episode.
Yeah, me too. Apparently, a lot of people really like Michael Hayes when he books matches. Have you heard that too?
Yeah. I mean, he's. I think he's one of those guys. Some people like him, and some don't. I probably wouldn't have him as my AA sponsor. Yeah.
Me neither. Well, that's about it. I think we covered a lot. We have part 2 of Best of NXT of 2015 tonight. Tomorrow night, we got the first SmackDown on USA. And then in a few weeks, as I yawn in embarrassment, in a few weeks, we have Royal Rumble. Early predictions, by the way? Early, like too early.
Cena, Lesnar, or Triple H or Roman are probably going to be one of the ones that win. I mean, that's the thing. There's only a handful of guys at the most that can win.
I have Dwayne the Rock Johnson. So we'll see everyone next week with the latest on the Rock winning the strap again, taking it to Mania. That's his big surprise, by the way. Did you know that?
Yeah, well, whatever. We'll just have to see how things play out.
Yeah, follow at me, Brad Shepard, and John Fisher IQ on Twitter, respectively, for all the latest shenanigans and Twitter hijinks for professional wrestling. And for that, Brad, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, Don Morocco and Jimmy Superfly Snuka were in a car in the 70s. And that's the night that kayfabe died.
Oh, boy.
By the way, kayfabe was a hooker in the back of their car.
Oh, man. Great way to end the show, everyone. We'll see you later.